So I had finished this video and was ready to upload it when Nick Santos, a pretty reliable scooper, said this was all legit and that it had actually leaked directly from Sony. So I would still say to take it with a grain of salt, but now here's your spoiler warning because it seems like there is a possibility that this is all real. We have a whole ton of leaks for Sony's upcoming movies, but this is all coming from 4chan, so take it with a grain of salt. And to be honest, after reading this, it's not amazing, but it does sound better than anything Sony could have come up with, so that's how I know that it's fake. Anyways, the leaker starts off by saying that Craven the Hunter is about Kraven being recruited by Calypso to prevent corrupt magnate Gregory Hurd from performing the Gathering of the Five. Hurd recruits the Foreigner and the Chameleon to stop Craven, and Craven later learns that the Chameleon is his brother and that their father Nikolai Kravinoff is the real villain and Hurd's boss. Calypso also works for Nikolai and manipulated Craven so that Nikolai could sacrifice him in the ritual, but she falls in love with Craven and helps him fight Nikolai. Aaron Taylor Johnson is Craven, Ariana DeBose is Calypso, Russell Crowe is Nikolai, Fred Hetchinger is the Chameleon, Christopher Abbott is the Foreigner, and Alessandro Nivola is Hurd. Madam Web is about Julia Carpenter meeting Cassandra Webb and learning that she's the next Madam Web and must protect the avatar of the Web of Life from a mysterious serial killer. The killer turns out to be Webb's daughter Charlotte Witter, who wants to steal the avatar's power for herself. Julia must learn how to control her powers to fight Charlotte and protect the avatar, teenager Anya Corazon. Dakota Johnson is Julia, Sydney Sweeney is Charlotte, and Vera Farmiga is in final talks for Cassandra. Sony wants Jenna Ortega for Anya and is eyeing Scott Eastwood, Moses Ingram, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan for supporting roles. Venom 3 is in active development for a 2024 release with Andy Serkis returning as the director. Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, Reed Scott, and Stephen Graham will all return. Patrick Mulligan will become Toxin, but will be a rival vigilante rather than the main villain. The plot features Venom and Toxin being hunted by the government and having to join forces to fight the Xenophage, a genetically engineered symbiote killer that goes rogue. Spider-Woman is also in active development for a 2024 release with Olivia Wilde as the director. The plot features Jessica Drew developing spider-like powers as a child due to a serum created by her father and being captured by a criminal organization that tries to turn her into a weapon. Jessica manages to escape and lead a peaceful life until the organization locates her, forcing Jessica to join forces with the government agent to take them down. Sony wants Ana de Armas as Jessica Drew and is eyeing Rebecca Ferguson for the lead villain. Silver Sable is in active development, but there's no director or release date yet. The plot will feature mercenary Sylvia Sablanova assembling the Wild Pack to get revenge on an international crime syndicate for her parents' murder. Sony wants Jodie Comer as Silver Sable. Nightwatch is also in development, but there's no director or release date yet. The plot will feature Dr. Kevin Trench developing a suit with cloaking abilities to prevent a corrupt corporation from weaponizing his nanotech research. And Sony wants Reggie Jean Page as Nightwatch. Lastly, there are a few other crossovers that they mentioned, including the Sinister Six, which Sony wants to be a multiverse crossover film where Tom Holland fights Michael Keaton's Vulture, Tom Hardy's Venom, Jared Leto's Morbius, and others. But it's in very early stages of development and will be unconnected to Marvel's next Spider-Man project with Holland. Sony also plans to introduce their own Spider-Man to the SUMC soon. They approached Andrew Garfield, but he declined. So there have been talks about setting the films in his universe, but having him retire so that he doesn't have to appear. And I actually think this is hilarious. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were actually talks or even plans to have Andrew Garfield appear in Morbius, but after reading the script, he said, yeah, absolutely not. We're not having another TASM 1 and 2 scenario, but actually even worse. I mean, I liked Venom 1 and 2, but I don't think they were amazing movies in any way. They were at least good enough for Kevin Feige to collaborate with Andy Serkis, and they found a way to include Venom in Spider-Man No Way Home. But for Morbius, the director Daniel Espinosa said that he was not allowed to speak with anyone at Marvel Studios, and that they had no idea how the multiverse would work or look like, which is why they had to do quick reshoots with Michael Keaton after Spider-Man No Way Home came out. And to be honest, I think the reason why is because Sony stole back Vulture. They yanked him out of the MCU instead of using one of the other 1,000 Spider-Man related characters that they own to build up the Sinister Six. And now either Marvel Studios doesn't want to touch him with the 10-foot pole, or they legally can't use him anymore. But the fact that Venom was brought in, then kicked out less than 30 seconds later, and only left a small piece of the symbiote behind, makes it clear that Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige don't want to merge or even acknowledge the SUMC any more than they have to. As for each of the movies, we really can't say much, because again, these leaks are probably fake. But Kraven sounds actually pretty good. In the leak, they make good use of all three villains, which is something that made me nervous. However, it still doesn't make sense for a garbage human being that hunts animals to fight his own brother and 3 other villains to stop his evil father. I would have thought that the whole family would team up together, but I guess not. Madam Web also sounds fine, and it's interesting that they're introducing Anya Corazon. However, according to this leak, neither Spider-Woman or any of the other rumored characters will appear in the movie, which is a little weird because most of the rumors up to this point have been setting it up as Sony's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Venom 3 sounds a little weird with Toxin being a vigilante similar to Venom, but it does make sense from a comic standpoint as Patrick Mulligan always wanted to do good with the symbiote. As for the villain Xenophage, it also makes sense because while this version is a bit different, it's still basically Phage, one of the symbiotes the Life Foundation found and was experimenting on in Venom 1. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it and if we see the other members, Scream, Lasher, or Agony. And while we already got Riot as the main villain in Venom 1, it'd be interesting to see if they still fused into Hybrid or if he was set up as the villain in the 4th movie. It's also very likely that Carnage is alive, so imagine if they replaced Riot with Carnage and we got a sort of Carnage hybrid. Or maybe that's how we get absolute Carnage in Sony's universe. It'd be a little weird, but I think that'd be pretty cool. Okay, back to the other movies. Spider-Woman sounds meh. It just seems like a direct adaptation from the comics, which is fine, but I doubt that Marvel will let them use Hydra, who are basically the ones that turned her into Spider-Woman in the comics. Plus, with Sony's track record, I'm not very convinced that they can make a good movie. For the last two, Silver Sable and Nightwatch, we don't have enough information, so it's hard to really say anything about them. But there was originally a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie in development, and recently it's been brought back up as being in development again by some trusted scoopers, so I don't doubt that it's real. And Nightwatch has been in development, or at least rumored to be, since I started YouTube more than 2 years ago, so we'll just have to wait and see what they're doing with it and when. But let me know what you guys think about all this. What did you think of these leaks, and are you excited for any of Sony's upcoming movies other than Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you will never miss another video. Thanks for watching, and remember to wash your hands and stay safe.